So back to what I was saying. Could be us.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Hannah. I am so excited to do this video today. I've wanted to make this for really ever. Let me scoot back a little bit. Okay. So I wanted to make this video for a really long time because, I don't know, I feel like a few years ago, or even like a few months ago, I could have really used a video like this. And today we're going to be talking about how to love yourself, be confident. Personally, I think that is really just the same thing almost. I think that confidence can come from other things, but I think self-love is the most important thing that you can do to have confidence, or you can have to have confidence. But I will be talking about a couple other things that aren't really self-love related. Well, I guess they are, but anyway. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoy. Make sure to like and subscribe if you do, and let's get on with the video. Okay, so the first thing that I want to say is I want to talk about my journey with self-love, okay? So I come from a home that I would say wasn't necessarily the most, let's just say it wasn't the best about teaching self-love. We never really talked about anything like that. We never really talked about loving yourself, appreciating yourself, being your own best friend, and that is something that I really want to teach my kids the importance of. But anyway, just a little side note. So I really just grew up with a lot of body issues. I was always a chunkier kid. When I was in like kindergarten and first grade, it was kind of like, oh, she's got a little bit of like baby weight. And then as I started getting to like the third, fourth grade, fifth grade, middle school, high school, it was kind of evident that it wasn't just baby weight anymore. I was actually an overweight child. I was an overweight, then an overweight young adult. And I was just thick, and I was bigger than everybody, and I really hated that, all the way up to middle school. And I remember being in the second grade and thinking that I looked so fat in my school pictures, which is crazy to me to think that a second grader, like 8 years old, 7 years old, would think that about themselves. But I clearly remember having that thought and believing that. So, really in middle school was the time that it was the toughest. I didn't have a lot of clothes that fit me well, I felt like. We had a dress code at my middle school where you had to wear pants with a belt loop and a belt with your shirt tucked in. And if you have a stomach at all, this is not a good look. I don't think it's really necessarily a good look for anybody except like guys, if they're wearing like, a nice like, dress pants or like khaki shorts with a belt, polo tucked in. Like, I think that's cute, but I think for really anybody else, like normal clothes tucked in with a belt, I don't think it's a good look. And it definitely wasn't for me. So I tried my hardest to do whatever I could to not have to wear that, because we had little tiny ways that you could get by with it or without it. And I tried so hard. But that was when I really, really was like, I'm fat. And I was associating my self-worth with my weight. So when I got into high school, I really decided that I was not going to listen to the things that other people were telling me. Sadly, a lot of those people being in my family. And just the idea that I had that I was not as good, not as wanted, and not as pretty as the other girls just because of my weight. And other things, like I just didn't think I was like a pretty person in middle school, But I decided in high school that I was going to really start focusing on myself and loving myself and being confident in who I was. So I really started just this kind of like transformation, as I wanted to be seen as this like queen mentality, like, oh my gosh, like I want to be Hannah, she's got it all kind of thing. And so what I realized is mentality is everything. Like if you think that you are the baddest, the best, the queen, you really, like, if you think that, you're really gonna start to believe that. And I did. And I could see it rubbing off on other people and how they mentioned me and how I was as a person. And really, when I got into high school, I started realizing that people that think that you're not as good or that they're better, there's really nothing that makes them better than you. And I'm not trying to say like, oh, you're better than everybody, but it's kind of like an equal playing field kind of thing. Like, just because I'm a little thicker, a little bigger, doesn't mean that my worth is less than yours. Doesn't mean that you can get more or you deserve more or anything like that. So I had to really drop that mentality, and that was the biggest thing that helped me. And the first step, I would say, in really letting go of that is realizing that you have that mentality. Realizing that, you're saying negative things about yourself. You're thinking that you don't look as good. You're not as good. Really realizing that you're thinking that way about yourself is the very first step, because you can't change something that you're not aware of. So I would say my biggest breakthrough moment was when I was in high school and I started paying attention to people who looked like me. And it's not just necessarily that they have the same height, or they have the same bust size, or they have the same waist size, or anything like that. It's just excuse me, it's just seeing people that don't, I don't know, they have a little extra body weight, they have a little extra, they have cellulite, they have this. And one of the first people that I really started admiring was Ashley Graham. And even now, I'm like, she's not even, she's beautiful, And I never really thought of her, she's not as skinny as the other models, but I never saw her in a way that was like, oh, she's not validated as a model, or she's not as pretty. I think that she's the prettiest model. Not to say that the other models aren't, but I think that she's absolutely gorgeous. She's a beautiful person as well. And I don't know, I started looking for these role models that were similar to my size, where I wasn't, looking at just bikini models all the time. And that's also the thing that Ashley Graham teaches, is your body is a swimsuit body. Your body is a summer body. I don't know what's happening to my voice. Hold on. She just really advocates for loving yourself as you are. And so I started listening to a lot of inspirational people, TED Talks, things like that. And it has been such a long journey to get where I am now. Honestly, it has taken years. It has taken a long time to getting to where I am now. And the journey's not over. It's not a destination. It's about the journey and figuring out who you are and loving yourself. And the thing about it is I think that you don't have to think that you're absolutely 100% so perfect that you would never change anything about yourself. I think that that's a common misconception, is it's oh, I have a stomach, I can't love myself until I diet and exercise so much that it's just gone. But the thing is you have to look at yourself as you are right now. And you can't really say that you're going to love yourself when this happens or this happens, because to me, I have been in a place where I've said, okay, I'm going to love myself when this and this and this. And it doesn't happen, because I've been saying that I'm going to lose weight for years. At this point, decades. I'm only 19, but decades. But have I ever not to the extent that I said I was going to. Like, the most I've lost, really, like, being intentional at one time was 30 pounds. And I felt great when I did that. But at the same time, I was disappointed because I didn't reach the 50-pound loss or the 70-pound loss that I was trying to get to. So it was like I was always just disappointed. And then also the thing that I didn't expect to happen was you really can't control where you lose weight. And so I was doing squats, I was doing this, and as I was losing weight, I was losing my butt. And it was just getting flatter and flatter and flatter. And I was losing my boobs, and I was losing all the things that I didn't want to lose. And it really just, it made me sad, to be honest, to see like what I thought made me a woman was going away. And so that was another thing that I really had to think about. Like, it's not, your body just doesn't define you as a person. It really doesn't. And you know, if you don't have big boobs or a big butt or a small waist, like that has nothing to do with you being feminine. It has nothing to do with you being a woman. It has nothing to do with you being a person. And so really just mentally you have to think about the way that you think about things, the way that you look at yourself, and the way that you talk to yourself. Because if you are saying negative things about you, like, you look terrible, you look so bad, you look, oh my God, why do you look like that, to yourself in the mirror, then it's just going to change your day. Really, it changes mine and the mentality that I have for that day. I mean, imagine someone saying to you, like, oh my God, you look awful today. That is not going to make you feel good. It's going to really make you feel terrible about yourself. And it's going to put a negative outlook on the entire day. You're going to be feeling like you're not good enough, you don't look good. And the thing is, I have found what makes me feel confident, okay? And that is, like, I guess, let's get into, like, the list of how to feel confident. My thing is, I have realized what makes me feel good and what makes me not feel good. I really like to do my hair and makeup, okay? And put on a nice outfit. And I think that makes anybody feel really good. But it is something that I don't feel like I have to do that. I want to do that. I enjoy the time in the morning when I get up, I do my makeup, I do my hair, I pick out an outfit because I just love fashion, love makeup. And it's something that's really almost like therapeutic for me. It's really calming, and it's a part of my day that I always look forward to. So that's something that I prioritize. And that's something that's so important to me. That may not be important to you. The other thing is, I always feel like I have to know everything. Not necessarily be right about, no, I mean, I don't think I have to be right about everything, but I have to know about everything. Like, I don't think that, especially, like, current events and, like, things that are going on in the news. Like, I remember, during especially, like, the 2016 election, everybody, like, in my school, because I was in high school then, were talking about things. I was like, what are you guys saying? Like, it doesn't make sense. And so I really was like, Hannah, don't say anything until you know what you're talking about. And that's kind of the motto that I live by with anything, not just politics. If I'm not educated, I am very, very hesitant to speak on a subject. And I think that's how it should be, because we don't want misinformation to be coming out everywhere. But that's something that also makes me confident in certain things, not just in myself. Educating yourself is so important, and it's so underrated. I feel like it's like a diss or like an insult to be like, oh, educate yourself. But I mean, really, well, I guess that is if someone says that to you, but educating yourself shouldn't be looked at as a bad thing. Learning new things should be looked at as a really, really good thing. And that's what I've started to think about, is sometimes people think certain ways and then they educate themselves and they're like, oh, I didn't really see it that way. I didn't think about it like that. So I think it's really important, and that's something that makes me confident in other topics, makes me really confident in conversation and discussing things with people. Okay, so one of the biggest things for confidence and self-love is hanging out with people that make you feel confident, okay? Hanging out with good people that make you feel good. And I know that might sound a little selfish, but there are people that I can hang out with and I leave the, I guess, hangout session or whatever not feeling the best. I don't feel the greatest about myself. I don't really feel confident. Sometimes I'm around people that are, I don't know, they just don't have my same values and things like that. And it's just kind of discouraging, to be honest. And I think that it's so important to find people that, I know it sounds cliche, but like lift you up, don't tear you down. Don't make jokes about things that they know are sensitive topics for you and you don't find funny. Just things like that. Just being like a good friend. And also it works both ways. Be a good friend to people. Give people compliments. Like, it takes 2 seconds to give somebody a compliment that can change their entire day around. It's so important. And, yeah, I just think that hanging out with people that make you feel good, make you feel confident, it's so important. It's so important to do that, because you're going to feel like you just have people there for you no matter what. And that's absolutely essential. And then another thing that I like doing is listening to positive, uplifting music. That's why I love Lizzo so much, because she is super body positive. She's always advocating for self-love, but at the same time, she's real. She realizes that every day is not going to be a good day. You're going to have your days that aren't as good, and that's okay, because it's hills and valleys. You have to realize when you're in the valley that there's going to be a hill, there's going to be good times, and she's very open and honest about that, and that it's okay to have bad days and not love yourself as much on those days. But don't let yourself stay in that place. Realize that, you know, sometimes you have to work to get to a better place mentally. So yeah, just find things. The biggest thing is, like, I don't think it's just a rule book to being confident and loving yourself. It's a personal journey, because things that make me feel confident might not make you feel confident. So you just have to find what works for you and just do that. So this was just a very like casual me talking about anything and everything video, but I hope that you did get something out of it. It's so important to go on a journey with self-love and confidence, because if you love yourself, you won't be looking to other things to fulfill you. You won't be looking for relationships that aren't good for you. You won't be hanging out with friends that aren't good for you. You won't be looking towards really anything to fulfill something that can only be fulfilled by the love for yourself. And I truly believe that when you love yourself and you have a higher standard because you know your worth, you won't even go for things that are gonna put you down, and you're not gonna go for things that you realize just aren't good enough for you. Like, you're gonna realize that this boy is not good enough for me, and this friend treats me really bad and I don't need them. Like, you're gonna realize that you deserve so much more than maybe you thought you did in the beginning. So it's super important, and I hope that everybody can go on their own personal journey of self-love and confidence. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you got something out of it. If you liked it, please make sure to like and subscribe, comment, share it, all the YouTube things. Thank you guys so much for watching again. And if you have a video suggestion for me, leave a comment down below and let me know. I would be happy to do it and hear from you guys. Thank you so much for the 100th time. I'm so thankful for you and this channel, and I will see you next time. Bye.